That's going on. Whoa, hey, what's going on, people? That's what I wanted to say. I'm not gonna start recording again. Let's just start with a mistake. Why not? It's real. It's organic. What's going on, people? Guys, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, Yost Jan. Hope everyone's doing well. Really do hope that. Thank you to for all the good feedback on yesterday's video at the wall. Over there behind me, talking about the Stamford Bridge rebuild. What's happening with it? Roman Abramovich not returning to Stamford Bridge for a long time. What's going on there? I enjoyed making the video. It took a while, so I'm pleased it had such a positive reception. Do go check out my latest upload if you haven't seen it. But today we're talking about Chelsea headlines. Marcos Alonso not taking the knee and his reasons for doing so. We're going to read a Sky Sports article about that. We're also going to talk about Antonio Rudiger. Rio Ferdinand thinks he's the best centre-back in the Premier League. I mean, I think Thiago Silva has a very strong case for that at the moment, but in terms of consistency and playing a lot, why not Antonio Rudiger as well? And I was going to say a bit of fun, but that's unfair. We are going to reflect on Danny Drinkwater's recent comments about his Chelsea career. Friends, if you like my content, you can let me know by dropping a like on the video. It does help me out a lot. And of course, consider subbing if you're new. Hey, only if you want to. Exclusive nudes available of George Benson, Eunice on my Instagram at FootballYannick. Lol. Guys, let's get straight into it and switch over to the web pages. So we are starting today on Sky Sports talking about Marcos Alonso. Chelsea defender to stop taking the knee after claiming anti-racism gesture is losing its strength. Interesting this, of course. Obviously a very serious issue. Certain players have already stopped. Pretty much, I think, almost exclusively black players at this point. Of course, Wilfried Zaha doesn't do it. He just sort of respectfully stands. Same reasons for Marcos Alonso. He feels like it's becoming a sort of empty gesture. This is obviously a story because Marcos Alonso is a white privileged dude, who of course hasn't endured racial discrimination. Has taken a lot of grief from fans, though. I'm sure most of you know. He recently played against Tottenham. He gets loads of stick from Tottenham, and they, often reference an incident that he was involved with, a car accident, and I believe a girl died. I think he paid off the family. I think it might have been drunk driving, so it's obviously very, very serious. And upsetting, of course. I imagine this guy's needed loads of therapy, and of course the family and stuff. He's ultimately been responsible for a fatality. It's no laughing matter. To be honest, it's no matter for banter either, if you ask me. But it's, I don't think there's, I think there's probably a lot of torment from every side. Anyway, we're not discussing that. We're discussing why he stopped taking the knee. We're looking at this Sky Sports article here. The Spain left-back says he will instead point to the Premier League no room for racism badge on his sleeve. Players have been taking the knee since the summer of 2020 to show their support for the movement for racial equality. And I think he's already done it, pointed to the badge for for the no racism badge. Marcos Alonso says he will no longer take the knee before matches as the Chelsea defender believes the anti-racism gesture is, quote, losing strength. The Spain left-back says he will instead point to the Premier League no room for racism badge on his sleeve while other players kneel ahead of kickoff. Okay, off the bat, it does, because everyone's doing this gesture now that you might have been desensitized to. When a player like Wilfried Zaha just stands there with his arms behind his back, it doesn't take the knee. You go, oh, that's different. What's he doing that? And then it maybe might conjure up the feelings of, okay, so why are we doing this? And make you reflect on the fact how there is a problem in the game of racial equality. So I'm not going to comment on how I feel necessarily about Marcos Alonso doing it, because I think it's kind of dangerous territory because he isn't a black man, he's a white man. But I guess it isn't for me to decide whether that's a powerful movement or not. Let's have a look. Since the Premier League resumed summer 2020, they've been taking it. I've read that. I'm fully against racism. This is from Marcos Alonso, and I'm against every type of discrimination. and I just prefer to put my finger on the badge where it says no to racism, like they do in some other sports and football in other countries, Alonso said. I prefer to do it this way, and of course to say very clearly that I am against racism and I respect everybody. Asked whether or not it's his decision to stop taking the knee had anything to do with politics, Alonso said, I don't know, I just prefer to do it this way. It's my way to do it. I think it's another way. And maybe I think it's losing a bit of strength the other way, so I prefer to do it in a way to show that I'm fully supportive of fighting against racism. There we go. Crystal Palace forward Wilfried Zaha became the first top-flight player to opt out of the gesture earlier this year, after stating his belief of taking the knee is degrading. Wow, okay. So that's interesting. That's not even obviously saying the gestures become weakened. To say it's degrading is a very, interesting notion. And fair enough, If he feels degraded by doing it, then fair enough. Alonso, who is speaking to the media following Chelsea's victory over Tottenham on Sunday, he has not discussed his decision with any of his Chelsea teammates, several of whom have been victims of racial abuse. Reece James, Antonio Rudiger, N'Golo Kante, and Romelu Lukaku have all faced abuse in recent years, with the England defender James temporarily deleting his Instagram account earlier this year due to the scale of online abuse, which was very sad to see, of course. He reactivated it when Chelsea won the Champions League, uploaded loads of pictures in with the trophy, which was lovely. Alonso said, no, we haven't talked about it. We are in the changing room and we are like family. I have a very good relationship with everyone. I love everyone, and up to now we haven't talked about it. I don't think there's a need to, but of course, if I have to speak to anyone, I will say the same thing I've just told you, and I don't think there will be any problems. He intends to maintain his stance for the rest of the season, adding, yeah, for now I prefer to point to sleeve. Okay. So, what do we think about this? The whole gesture, taking the knee, I think it's very important still. I think the biggest talking point of it lately has been the fact how crowds have started to really rigorously applaud the taking of the knee, which is a positive element, I think, in my opinion, to show that, we are supporting this. And yes, the fact how certain people are getting annoyed and bored of it now is almost good to show you this is a problem, I'm sorry if this is an inconvenience to you, but this is a problem in the game and we're going to applaud it loudly and da-da-da-da-da. So people taking their own action to I don't know, switch up the normality of it, and maybe that is standing from Marcos Alonso. I'm not going to say anything else on it. It's very difficult to sort of comment on something that I can't understand as like a privileged white male. I know it's a horrible, upsetting part of the game. Not just racism, homophobia, all forms of discrimination. Football's a game. It's a culture for everyone. And that's all I'm going to say on that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about a bit more of a positive. And that is Rio Ferdinand's comments on Antonio Rudiger being the best centre-back in the Premier League. This is on the Metro. And let's see what Rio has to say. Yeah, obviously, I was going to try and do a Rio Ferdinand accent. It just came out as Harry Kane. But I did, accidentally, I did a good Rio Ferdinand accent the other day. I'm not going to try now. Rio Ferdinand believes Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger has been the best centre-back in the Premier League since the arrival of Thomas Tuchel at the club last season. There is a strong case for it. Rudiger, who has been part of the Chelsea side who have started the league campaign with 4 wins and a draw in their opening 5 matches, while only conceding 1 goal, has been described as immense by the former Manchester United and England defender. Bearing in mind, with regards to a defender, we haven't actually conceded a goal in open play. It was a penalty, so defenders aren't involved in that. So technically, no goals have been conceded past defenders. And, of course, Antonio Rudiger plays every game, so... Despite the Blues having a whole host of defensive options, including Trev Chalobah, Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen, Reece James, and Thiago Silva, Rudiger has been the mainstay in the team at Stamford Bridge this term, after falling down the pecking order while Frank Lampard was in charge. Of course, he's also the only player that can play on that left sort of centre-mid role well. I think Christensen can as well, but in terms of specialist, he's really the only option there. Ferdinand believes both Rudiger and Manchester City centre-back Ruben Dias have been the standout defenders in the Premier League during the last year, but the German's effects on his teammates means he edges it for the best in the league. Also, as well, like, I would say that Diaz has fallen off a little bit. Since Tuchel came in, I think he's arguably been the best centre-back. I think him and Diaz would have been close, but the effect he's had on his team has been immense. Under Frank Lampard, it was evident he wasn't Frank's cup of tea. He really didn't like him. There were rumours they were trying to put him in the market to be sold. Actually, Frank did bring him back in towards the end, but whether that was pushed by the club or not, I don't know. In Germany, he's always been highly thought of, but when a manager doesn't rate you and you feel that, I don't care who you are, your confidence takes a beating and it's hard to perform at that level. Excuse me. The German, who only has 12 months left on his current contract at Stamford Bridge, is in current negotiations with the Chelsea's board over a new deal, with Thomas Tuchel eager, very eager by the way, to keep one of his stars at the club. Quote from Thomas Tuchel, I hope they find solutions, but it's not only the coaches and the players and what we wish for, that's why it's between the club, the players and the agent at the moment. We hope they find a solution, and everything I can say, he plays excellent, and since a long time he's very consistent on a high level. Right. Antonio Rudiger. Interesting. Chelsea have offered him 140k a week. He's, I think, rejected that. He's looking for probably something closer to what he'd get if he accepts a free transfer from an elite European club. Signing this kind of player in this kind of form on a free contract, and you pay him 200k a week, absolutely. He probably recognises he can get that. Probably doesn't want to leave Chelsea because he knows, I reckon part of him knows largely he's playing this well because it's Chelsea right now and because it's Tuchel right now. You know, I don't think he plays for Germany as well as he plays for Chelsea. So, I think he does want to stay. I think he probably just wants to crank it up a little bit more. I heard Matt Law speak on the London is Blue podcast earlier. Great podcast, my friends over there. Saying that it's an opening offer, 140k a week, so that almost implies that there will be an increase, you know, to maybe 160, maybe they finally agree on 180 or 170 a week or something. But I've spoken about this many times because of Chelsea's. He's 29 years old, I think, and if you give him a new long-term deal, you don't want to be paying a 34-year-old 200k a week at Chelsea, or, you know, unless it's like, I don't know, even Thiago. I think Thiago Silva's on like 100k. So, you know, there's that. I feel like, I think Thiago Silva could have got paid more if he went elsewhere. He just wanted to come to Chelsea. I think he'll stay, personally. I do think he'll stay. Andreas Christensen looks like that'll be wrapped up. I think Rudiger will stay. I think Chelsea will offer him more. Maybe not as much as he wants, but I think he'll do. This is just my speculation, by the way. I think he'll do like soul-searching reflection and feel like, I don't want to leave a good thing here. I'm going to re-sign, and ultimately for what is good money. Do you know what I mean? He'll get good money. So let me know what you guys think on the defender situation, and let's have a little look. And I was going to say laugh, but I'm not going to say laugh. This guy's a Premier League winner. Let's talk about Danny Drinkwater, also on the Metro. Danny Drinkwater opens up on his, quote, shambles of a Chelsea career and his future. Bearing in mind, he's in his last season at Chelsea, and he's just on loan with no extension, so Chelsea are literally just trying to get a bit of his wages off the book. So, I think he's at Reading, and I imagine Chelsea, this article might tell us, but by Phil Hay, I think Chelsea are probably paying the majority of his wages, because he's on 100k a week. Danny Drinkwater has described his Chelsea career as a shambles and is looking at getting the enjoyment of football back in his latest loan spell at Reading in the Championship. He's only 31. This is a Premier League winner. We obviously bought him mid-20s, and Conte wanted him as well, by the way. So, the 31-year-old moved to Stamford Bridge from Leicester City in September of 2017 for a huge £35 million fee, but things have not worked out for him well at all at London, that's true. The Blues midfielder has made just 23 appearances in all competitions. That is mad. Like in cup competitions, in everything. Early Premier League, when we thought he was like the one, well, we didn't think he was the one, Conte might have. With only 12 coming into the Premier League, that's mental. He spent loan spells on loan at Burnley, Aston Villa, Turkish side, Kasımpaşa, and now Reading, where he is hoping to reignite his career. And he's now in his last year of contract at Chelsea, and is career appears to be on the line after an extremely difficult time. Quote from Drinkwater: Can I paint a picture? No, it's been a shambles, Drinkwater told TalkSport on his Chelsea career. It's football, it's never straightforward, it's never simple, I'm just excited for new challenges. I need to kickstart my career. I'm more excited about this than I have been for a few years now, especially how my career's panned out. Games, getting the enjoyment of football back, then from there, a few have slid away. I've made mistakes, I've not played yet. When he says he's made mistakes, he's been like drunk and fighting. He's done like really dumb stuff. It's not just been perhaps his questionable performance levels on the pitch. He's like, done really dumb stuff off the pitch and loads of problems like that. There's been a couple of times, I think he played with the Chelsea development team. Like, here you go here. He got sent off against Tottenham's under-23s when he's like probably the most senior player on the pitch. And I think before that red card, when he got wound up by some kid, which was laughable from his perspective that he did that he let himself get wound up. Apparently he's really good. Like there was apparently they're saying he's the best player on the pitch for a time. I think it was that game or a different one. And bearing in mind, there's a lot of talented Chelsea youngsters there as well. There is something to Danny Drinkwater. He's won the Premier League as a relatively important player, and everyone couldn't believe how he didn't go to the 2016 Euros. Like, it was like a travesty, a lot of people thought. Now on loan with the Royals until the end of the season, Drinkwater made his Reading debut on the 18th of September, coming off the bench in a 2-1 win away against Fulham. I'm desperate for games, he said. I know my position, and I know it's not what I've expected for 10 years. So I've got to make changes, and I'm making the right steps. I've just got to keep in contact with the manager, trust each other, and trust the team. Hopefully, we trust me, and we can build on that. Oh man, the sorry state of Danny Drinkwater, man. He was, like I said, he's a Premier League winner. Him and Kante. I know Kante made him look better, but he was a good player into Kante. Kante would win it, and he'd give it to Drinkwater, and Drinkwater would play in like Vardy or Mahrez. Do you know what I mean? So he was a great player. And Antonio Conte wanted him. And Chelsea, yes, Chelsea have wasted money before, but I spent 35 million on him. There are people at Chelsea that would have looked at him closely, even if it was a questionable decision. No one knew how bad that was going to get. Anyway, this has been a really long video, I've just realised, so I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, if you've enjoyed my content and you want to show support, please do drop a like on your way out. Means a lot. For those of you who are not subscribed, you are, of course, welcome to. And I'm gonna, that's me, guys. So enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
Way so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living. I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines. I rap through thought. Body bag the verse. Outlined in chalk. In my life, seen trouble. Hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle. Bad boy, stay in trouble. I only love this paper. Sorry, I don't. I laugh me, bitch.